All right, in the interest of people being on time, let's go ahead and get started. My piece is short, but I first want to welcome you to our webinar about our annual conference in Louisville. My name's Addie Cuyaba. If we haven't met, I cannot wait to meet you in Louisville. I'm the CEO for AAOE, and I've been in my role for 16 years. And I've actually been in the Orthopedic Association space for 26 years. I'm very excited. We started hosting these webinars just a few years ago, really. And they've been very helpful to all of our exhibitors, new and returning. Mostly, I want to thank you. I really want to thank you for being a part of our show, a part of our community, a part of helping our members, all those orthopedic professionals, doing the most that they can with what they have. So thank you for participating today, but really thank you for supporting the entire community. I am going to turn it over to Ed Moeller. Ed is our chair of our Industry Relations Advisory Board. If you're not familiar with that board, it is a group that we started back in 2013 to get immediate regular feedback from you, our vendor supporters. So I'll let Ed introduce himself.
Sure. Melissa, could you jump down a couple slides there? There we go. First and foremost, guys, welcome and thanks for jumping on this call. Hopefully you'll get some information out of here that will help kind of set you guys up for success. This is really what this is all about, kind of setting some kind of outline of what the AAOE is. If you've never been here before, if you guys have attended, thank you for being back. I think there's some really good information to come out of this. So again, my name is Ed Moeller. I am the National Sales Director for Puma Managed IT. I do sit as the chair for the Industry Relations Advisory Board for the AAOE. So thanks for having me. I'll now pass it on to Molly. Molly, if you want to introduce yourself.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're happy to have you with us. I'm Molly Vanort. I'm the Director of Specialty Solutions at NextGen Healthcare, and I've been an Industry Relations Advisory Board member for quite a few years now, and been working with AAOE for a long time. And we really look forward to any questions that you have today. We're here to help. Jason, you're up.
Thank you, Miss Molly, and happy belated birthday to you, young lady. So I'm Jason Miller with TSI. I've been on their business development side for 20 years and have been a part of the AAOE, I want to say for over, 10 or 11 years now. Absolutely love this group and excited to be speaking with everybody and helping you folks have the best upcoming conference that you could possibly have. So Ed, back to you.
Thank you. So the first thing I want to do is kind of touch base on the agenda for today, just so you guys can kind of see how the meeting's going to go. If you do have questions, feel free to drop them into the chat bar, and we will get to those specific questions and try to answer them the best we can. So from a standpoint of agenda, we're going to talk about timeline to the AAOE conference. We're going to talk about the exhibit hall schedule. We've got a pretty cool theme day coming up here during the conference that we'll touch base on. Third-party vendors, booth staff registration information, hotel information, drive traffic to your booth, kind of the do's and the don'ts of how to be successful if you have not attended the meeting. AAOE's conference charities, Dare to Care, and the Gilda's Club. And I always jack up the last word here, Connecticut. Help me out, Jason. How do you pronounce that word? Kentuckiana. There we go. See, they got to keep it small and short and keep it to crayons with me, honestly. And then the last thing is tips for a successful show. So that's kind of what we're going to cover over the first part of or throughout the call. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them into the chat. All right. So from an exhibit hall schedule, so we've got Monday the 20th through April the 22nd, which is that Wednesday, just exhibit opening. So the exhibitor setup will be from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on that Monday. The exhibit hall itself will actually open up to everyone at 4:30 to 6. We'll do an open reception from that time frame, again, from 4:30 to 6 p.m. We will probably do a pre-show kind of meeting before the doors open. Again, just to answer any last-minute questions. If there's any, oh, can we do this or can we do that? We'll touch base with that as well, and more information will come with that when we get closer to the show. For Tuesday, April 21st, that is Derby Day. which is our theme day. So Exhibit Hall opens from 10 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. Networking and lunches is 11:45 a.m. and 1 to 1:45 p.m. And then we'll have a Derby Day reception from 5:15 to 6:45. Those days are always really fun. If you have not been a part of this or have not been a part of the theme day, those can be a lot of fun. So the last day, April 22nd, is the Charity Shirt Day. The exhibit hall will open from 9 a.m. and will close down at 12:30 p.m. There will be a networking lunch from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And then the AAOE vendor prize giveaway, we normally hold from 12:30 to 1:15. If you're not familiar what the vendor prize giveaway is, if you are going to give a prize away, at the meeting, we ask that you would wait until the end towards that AOE vendor prize giveaway. That's when a lot of the folks come together. They're pretty excited about it. And we give the prizes away as a raffle or whatever the case may be. So that's when we do that. So if you guys want to jump to the next slide. Again, the theme days go back to the Derby Day, which we kind of touch base on. As crazy as you want to get within means, a lot of folks do costumes, masks, something unique is very much encouraged that goes with the Derby Day. I think Derby is the week after, if I'm not mistaken, Jason. It's 1 week afterwards.
It's usually the first weekend of May.
Perfect. So whatever you want to do that's kind of related to the Derby Day theme, it brings a lot of attention to your booth. It's pretty cool. The crazy and the more fun you have with the more attention it's going to bring to you. Feel to dress as casual with jeans and tennis shoes if you don't want to dress up. It's a party theme, so it's a lot of fun. Deck your booth out as much as you want. I think last year we had an entire Star Wars themed booth that they went all out with balloons. And they even had a sword fight there somewhere in the middle of the theme day, which was kind of interesting. So a lot of fun, and then give away some fun Derby Day prizes. Again, it's all about bringing traction and bringing attendance to your booth. So the more aggressive you get with it and the more fun you have with it, the more it's going to come directly back to your booth. The last day, Wednesday, April 22nd, is our Charity Shirt Day. We encourage your staff and yourself to donate towards the Shirt Day. All the proceeds go again to Dare to Care and the Gilda's Club Kentuckiana charities. You can buy shirts. I got it right that time, Jason. The shirts, there will be a group picture at the end, so it's always kind of cool because that gets posted up on the AAOE's website for what we did from a charity standpoint that day. So lot of really, really fun things going on during this meeting. And the more you're involved, the more you take advantage of it. Again, it all goes back to driving attendance and things back to your booth. So the next slide, please.
Perfect. I can jump on this one, Ed.
Sure.
So really quick to add this, I know a lot of the folks probably on the call, you could be on the marketing side or you could actually be on the sales side. I'll just make a quick point. The theme days, AAOE has some of the best participation and some of the best attendees in the entire country of all the shows I've ever been to. You have a very involved group, so you won't be the only one if you do something in a theme. I promise you're not going to be the only person who shows up in some sort of costume or theme. So don't hesitate to go all out. Please, that was my recommendation there. So now let's kind of talk a little bit about some logistics, right? So Paramount is our go-to as far as helping us with a lot of different things at conference. So anything that you're going to need as far as furnishing your booth, whether it's AV, flooring, all of those things, they are going to be through Paramount. And one of the big things that we have to stress this year is that we are at a convention center and they have concrete floors. So we have to have flooring. It's not typical for you to have to purchase or utilize flooring, but you have to have it this year. So unless there's some rules that you can't, typically you can either provide your own carpet if you want to lug it in. If you had some type of padding flooring you want to bring down, that's fine as well. Or you can obviously purchase it through Paramount. The important things that I want to stress here being a vendor is there are discounts. Make sure that you abide by these discounts. Deadlines, right? If it's anything that dealing with receiving items before April 26th is your deadline. Also, the service kit will be available starting February 25th. I'm a big proponent, right? We all know that these things sometimes aren't cheap. Save money by ordering early. Get yourself a discount. No need to pay extra fees for that. And then if you do miss the early bird deadline, you can still order services. Trust me, everybody's happy to still allow you to purchase things, but it would be a slight premium. As you can see, the deadline for receiving items as well would go up after the 13th. But go to your Exhibitor service kit. There'll be a link for that, and it'll be on all of your marketing pieces that come out as well. And then you can see Miss Katie's direct information there on the slide. So next slide, please. In addition to that, right, the actual audio and visual will be done through Compass Audio and Visual, so you can see Adam's information there. There is a fillable PDF form that's available in the service kit, and so make sure you fill that out and email that directly back to Adam. If you still have a fax machine, great. Carrier pigeons sometimes work too, but typically email is the best way to get him that information. Next slide. And then lead retrievals. Now, I'm a big proponent of this because I'm always on site, on the floor and working the booth. Lead retrievals are extremely important in my opinion, right? Some companies don't utilize them. I'm a big proponent of it. They have a scanner that you can do. I don't use the scanner. I just use the mobile app. It's simple, it's easy, it's typically on your cell phone. I think you get 1 or 2 registrations, but you can purchase additional ones if you need. Here's why I'm a big proponent of it. Go to a conference and ask 10 people in a row if they have a business card on them, and you're probably going to strike out 7 or 8 times, right? Most folks aren't typically carrying around a bulk of cards that they used to do 10, 15 years ago. So scanning their badge, getting that information is very critical, especially for your sales folks to follow up after show. And then they can add custom information in there. They could do custom qualifiers. They can put additional information about their conversation. So lead retrieval, highly important in my personal opinion. You can see the deadline for the discount is March 27th. And then there's a link, obviously, where you can order those services as well. Phone number and email down at the bottom too. So next slide. All right, so the important thing, because we get a lot of questions on booth staff registration, let's go through these and then I'll tackle a few important items. So first of all, if you are in a 10 by 10 booth, you get 2 complimentary badges, okay? If you're in a 10 by 20, you get 4 badges, and if you're in a 10 by 30, you get 6 badges, okay? We always get asked, can we purchase additional badges? That's going to be at the second to last point you see on there. Typically, we open that up, not always, but around February. It could be a little bit later in the year, and I'll tell you why. We like to keep the vendor to attendee ratio in kind of in line and in proportion. We don't want 85,000 vendors and only a few hundred attendees, right? It doesn't bode well for anybody. So we start to open up additional badges as we get additional registration that comes through and when it makes sense. So yes, they could be available for purchase. Typically February, maybe in March, those will open up. You will be communicated with those. The other thing I want to point out here is you must be registered to exhibit and or a sponsor to actually attend the conference. AAOE does a very good job at kind of policing the area, making sure that you don't have just random folks walking in throughout or people that aren't involved with AAOE just trying to come in and poach business. So please make sure that you are registered if you will be on site and to attend. And then the last point, some of you may or may not be familiar or aware, but every company, if you are a vendor or a sponsor, has the ability to provide a discount code to invite attendees to the annual conference. Typically, what that's going to be is like a 3-digit, a 3 number of your business name and a code afterwards. And what it will allow people to do is save $100 off of registration. In addition to that, you can also get what we call priority points at AAOE. So if you have somebody sign up for the show, you get additional priority points, what help you move up in early booth registration. So it's a great way to promote your company, Great way to get new attendees to the conference and allow them to save money. It's a win-win-win across the board. I would highly recommend that. If you don't have one, please reach out to the AAOE staff. They can create that code for you so you can send it out to your clients to invite them to the conference. Next slide, please. Perfect. So now let's talk about, Ed alluded to the AAOE prize giveaway. So this is actually a really cool thing. I think we started it 2 years. This will be the 3rd year that I believe that we have done it. It's going to be on the last day of conference, and it's typically right at the end of exhibit hall hours. So you can see 12:30 to 1:15. That's going to be local time. What happens is AAOE will set up a stage, and usually you'll have a bunch of the attendees gather around. You have to be present to win for the attendees. And what the exhibitors do, there's only a limited space. There's 30 exhibitors. So if you would like to if you'd like to participate, please fill out the form. Let AAOE know that you're interested, and then they'll take the top 30 folks that have signed up for this, and you're able to give away your prize that you have. How you do that? It's typically out of a fishbowl or a random drawing. So I know some booths like to do individual booths. Recommend if you're going to do that after this event takes place, because that's more of intimate company decision. If you'd like to participate in this, please sign up. It's a great opportunity. It allows your team representative or your company representative to get on stage and received, and it's pretty cool. So next slide, please. Now, in addition to the actual, 30 exhibitors prize giveaway, AAOE also does a fantastic job of, I can't use the word marketing, but letting the attendees know that if you have a particular prize that you would like to give away, you can be included in their final program and or the conference website where it lists what your company is giving away. So this does not mean you have to do it in the 30 exhibitor prize giveaway that I just talked about. This can be your individual booth gift, or you could include it in the 30 vendor prize giveaway. But what we would encourage you to do, if you know what prize you're going to be raffling off or giving away, tell AAOE. They'll put it in the marketing brochure. It'll be in the app. It'll say company 123 at this booth is giving away Apple AirPods, right? Fantastic. Somebody's giving away a trip to Napa Valley. Even better. A bourbon experience in Louisville. I would love that, right? So anything you want to do, you can let AAOE know, and they can put that into their information that they distribute out to all the attendees. You must have that completed by March 20th, okay? Next slide, please. And AAOE bucks, I think, yeah, okay. So on the AAOE bucks, this is something that we started, it was last year, it was very well received. So AAOE will have their own individual prizes that they put together for the attendees. How these attendees try to win and or purchase these prizes are through AAOE bucks. So what this game does is it encourages attendees to go to as many booths as possible, to then engage with these booths, right? Engage with the vendors. And the vendors have the ability to provide AAOE bucks to those attendees based on the quality of your conversation, based on, do you think that they might be a viable prospect for you? Maybe if it's somebody that just comes by, you just give them a $10, $20 AAOE buck. But if somebody has a very meaningful conversation, they're engaged in what your product offering is, maybe you want to give them $100 or $250. Either or, whatever you would like to do, this is something that is pretty cool. It helps the vendor stay engaged and the attendees to engage with you. I know last year that we did do additional dollars that can be purchased on site. Obviously, it's something that your booth staff would have to manage. You know what? They burn through all their dollars on the first day. They might need to go talk to Addie and the AAOE team, purchase some additional AAOE bucks, so you can provide those to the rest of the attendees as you see fit. So,
pro tip. Wait, Jason, before we jump, pro tip on the AAOE bucks. You will see a massive surge that last morning from the members attending that are like, oh, we're $100 or $500 short of what we think we're going to need to get a certain prize. You will see a surge of people coming to your booth wanting those AOE bucks. So if you're wanting to have that last minute conversation, make sure that you're budgeting those AAOE bucks to that last day. Because if you give them all up and all of a sudden that last day comes by, people are going to bypass you if you don't have those bucks. So just a pro tip.
Great point. I'll even add this, Ed, because I've been in that position last year. And when I'll tell somebody, they'll come up, do you have any more bucks? Just to say it's the second to the last day. I'll say, I do have a little bit more. Come back and see me tomorrow, because what I'm going to do is allocate some additional funds to folks that come back and engage with me tomorrow. It's a great way to have an attendee come back and have an additional conversation with you. So great point, Ed. Thank you for pointing that out. Next slide, please. So hotel information. So also, first year in a long time, or I think first year in my experience with AAOE, which has been over a decade, that we have multiple hotels because again, the actual conference will be at the convention center. So there are 3 fantastic hotels that are pretty close proximity to the downtown convention center. I want to say the Galt House is the only one that's a little bit further away, but when I say further, I think we're talking about less than a half a mile. I think it might be only 4/10 of a mile. So a good 10 to 15 minute, nice, easy, get out early in the morning walk. But you can see the prices there, all great prices, especially for downtown Louisville. It is absolutely fantastic. 2 things I want to point on this. Obviously, you must be registered before you can actually reserve a hotel. Second thing is you want to reserve your room early, and you need to reserve before the end of the block date, which is March 23rd. Okay. You also have the ability, Ed talked about, or we talked about hosting events. So I'm going to kind of make a little disclaimer here. We encourage folks to have fun and host events. But the caveat is it cannot be done during any sanctioned or official AAOE hours. So if it's a AAOE day where they have sessions, or if it's an AAOE planned event or the themed event or the social hour, you cannot schedule events that compete or overlap with AAOE. That is the only thing I have to stress. Here's why. From a logical standpoint, you have a lot of vendors that are all there investing money in AAOE to have the best conference. It's just not right. It's not respectful, right? From a basic human nature sense, we want to be respectful. The second thing is AAOE goes out of lengths to facilitate a wonderful time for all the attendees and the vendors, and they host some fantastic parties. No need to compete with a party that you've already invested in by being there as an attendee. Let's enjoy the social hours and then host an additional event afterwards. So that's the main thing that I want to stress there. And if you do want to host an event, there is an approval form. Please fill that out. AAOE will let you know you have the blessing and then go from there. Okay? Ed, Molly, anything you want to add to that?
I think
Perfect.
you're good.
Next slide.
No,
I think I pass it to you.
I think we're okay. Yep. I think you hit everything.
Perfect. Now let's got a lot of the logistics behind us. That's a lot of information. Everybody take a deep breath. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about those soft skills and some of the internal logistics and planning that you want to put in so that you have a really successful show. So let's talk about before, during, and after. So before, set some clear goals. Define what success looks like for your organization. Are you going to be looking at lead gen, brand awareness, networking, or partnerships? Also, establish those measurable KPIs. You want to know what success looks like for you. Also, plan your booth and materials. Ensure your booth is visibly appealing and aligned with your brand, but also take into account those theme days and how you want to participate in that. We have definitely had some that have definitely set the bar really high with our theme days. So feel free, really dig in, have fun with it. Prepare your marketing materials, all of that collateral, brochures, your business cards, digital assets, whatever you need for success for your show. Also, promote ahead of time. We've talked about the discount codes already. We'll bring them up probably multiple times before the call is over. Share them often. Be on social media. Announce your presence. Email newsletters, your website, all of the different tools that you have at your disposal to really market yourself and also the conference. And then, of course, schedule meetings with prospects and partners before the show. You can find great success in having these set up ahead of the show and then have plenty of time still to talk to the people that come to your booth that you haven't engaged with beforehand. So schedule meetings as much as you possibly can. And of course, train your team. Make sure that everyone knows your key messaging, your elevator pitch, and your product details, but also practice engagement techniques. We really want you to engage with the attendees as they're in the showroom floor, but also when you're out and about and chatting. During the conference, engage actively. Make sure you're greeting the attendees warmly, asking open-ended questions, really wanting more information from them, not just information from you to them. And offer those interactive experiences, demos, games. A lot of us often have games as part of our booth. And obviously, that lead retrieval. Make lead retrieval as effective as possible. Jason covered this. You have options with your lead capture tools. But make a plan. Have an idea of how this is going to work and then plan out what that looks like. Make sure you're qualifying your leads. Do that on the spot, prioritize follow-up, help your team by taking down notes about your interactions with attendees. And then again, leverage social media. Post live updates, photos, videos, tag the event and partners to increase visibility. And then after the conference, follow up quickly. Send personalized emails to those who you connected with at the show and share relevant resources or schedule demos or further meetings. And then evaluate the performance of the show for your organization. Look at those KPIs. Talk about those goals. Where did you meet those goals, exceed, or where are other areas that maybe you need to engage more? Gather that feedback from your team. Engage them. Everybody that attends these shows has a little bit different view. Make sure you're talking to everybody that was there as part of your team. And then obviously nurture relationships. Add your leads to your CRM. Stay connected on LinkedIn and other social media tools. And then share recaps. Social media is key. So make sure you're posting highlights on social media, thank attendees and partners, and really continue that engagement. Next slide, please. All right, setting expectations. Plan and prepare so that the show is a success for your organization, for AAOE, for all of us that are going to be there. Set those goals, increase your brand visibility, generate those leads, build relationships, and obviously make sure your booth staff know their roles and responsibilities. Engage those attendees. Make sure that they're not on their emails or sitting behind their computers the whole time. Make sure they know how to capture those leads. Make sure they understand what you're offering from a product perspective. If you've got demo specialists, make sure you have an understanding of when they're going to be available and how you want to engage with them. And then, of course, the best thing too is to have kind of a team lead, somebody that can coordinate your daily check-ins and resolve issues, can work directly with those of us on the IRAB board or AAOE directly. Understand those KPIs, understand what you're looking for out of the show so it'll be successful for you. And again, schedule those meetings ahead of time. It really does make a huge difference in the success of your show. But most importantly, engage. Be proactive, approachable, and attentive. When you're in the showroom, when you're out walking around within the conference, make sure you're engaging with the attendees and with other vendors. It is so critical for the success of the show for all of us, but you yourselves specifically. And messaging is also critically important. Use your, obviously your elevator pitch, but also make sure you understand the most important things for your organization that you're bringing to the show. And again, capture those leads. And then follow up. Post-event is really critical. Attend any debrief meetings that your team has, but also do some post recap on social media. It really does make a difference in solidifying relationships that you've started to build. All right, next slide. Let's cover setting goals just a little bit deeper. As a team, you need to know what your goals are for the conference. Is it lead generation? I want to collect 100 qualified leads during this event. What does qualified mean for your team? Again, pre-scheduled appointments, huge, makes a major difference in not only how the time is used, but also making sure that you're connecting with some of those main prospects that are going to be at the show. That brand awareness. Is that one of your goals? Do you want to increase your social media engagement? Do you want to see more updates throughout the day? That might be an internal goal for your team that you want to make sure that you're having more of that social media engagement. And obviously, scheduling meetings means networking, and that overall networking goal can mean prospects and or partners. So set specific goals, make sure you understand who you want to meet with. And of course, book product demos or follow-up meetings right there at the show time. It really does help make sure that you're connecting with the people that you're wanting to connect with. And check out the AAOE prospectus for more opportunities specifically around the show. Gentlemen, anything to add in?
Yeah, the only thing that I would say is a smile and a hello gets you
Makes a huge difference.
gets brings people to your booth. So if you're seeing people just kind of looking up your booth saying, kind of trying to figure out what exactly it is you do, say hello to them and then bring them into your booth. Do not be afraid to engage. They know why we're there. The members 100% know why the vendors are there. So if you give them a nice little smile and a hey, how are you? Let me show you what I got. They'll come over and give you a few minutes. It may not lead to anything, but there's a good chance that it could lead to a little bit deeper conversation. So don't be afraid to engage. That's the one thing that I would piggyback on what Molly said, or what Molly said. Sorry.
It's all about building relationships, and this is truly where that relationship building begins. So
Yep.
engage often, and don't be shy. All right, now I get to pass it on to a great friend. Take it away, Judy.
Thank you, Molly. And I would like to just add my thanks to all of you who are here and who have signed up to support and participate in this upcoming event. My name is Judy Ridings. I've already had the pleasure, of course, of working with a number of you. And if we haven't met yet, I'm really looking forward to seeing you in Louisville. On that note, I'm super excited because I am a native Louisvillian, another hard word to say, Ed. And so I am super excited to be able to welcome you to my hometown. Let's go on to the next slide and talk about booth selection. So booth selection is coming up. It will start on February 10th. Before that time, you will receive an email with your appointment time to log in and make your selection. On that note, I'd like to add that these times will be Eastern time zone times, so you might make a note of that if you live in a different time zone so that you are on time for your appointment to pick your spot. Another important note is that you must be paid in full by February 6th. So if you have not yet seen an invoice come through, please let me know. Let my teammate Audrey, you'll see her contact information on a slide later. Please let her know so that we can make sure we get that to you. You might also check your junk and spam. These things just have a way of landing there sometimes. But then be on the lookout for your appointment time. And if you run into any problems, you can reach out to Audrey for help. She'll be happy to do that. And we'll be standing by through appointment times to help in any way she can. Let's go to the next
Judy,
slide. Oh,
Judy,
yes.
real quick, I'm sure this probably will come up and maybe it's already on the screen, but
Sure.
when should we be looking for those emails for the selection? I know it says it begins on February 10th. Should we look for a week before, 2 weeks before, or when?
I think I'm gonna ask Melissa to help with confirmation on this, but I think, are we sending those a week before?
Yeah, I believe that they are a week before. They get sent out through eShow.
So roughly about, I'm just looking at the calendar, somewhere around the 3rd-ish time frame, February 3rd.
That sounds about right, as long as you're paid in full.
Okay. So guys,
Okay.
as Judy said, make sure if you haven't gotten something by the 4th, make sure you're checking your junk mail. And if you haven't, reach out to any one of us on the IRAB or Judy directly or anyone from AOE, and they'll put you in contact with the right folks.
Sure. Thank you. Good point, Ed. Let's go on to the next slide. This is really, in many ways, a reiteration of some things that you've already heard about your pre-show outreach. So you should have gotten your first attendee list. As you are doing that outreach, first of all, you may know this, but please limit your outreach to one per attendee prior to the event. You'll want to make sure that your pre-show email is mobile friendly. So you might, if this isn't already a practice for you, before you send an email, you might send it to yourself and take a look at it on your phone just to see what it looks like and make sure it's easy to see there and not too much scrolling involved. While you have the attendee list, please make sure that you are reaching out to people who are your prospects, even if you don't see them on that list. This is a great opportunity to use your discount code. This is also a great opportunity to support an attendee who might want to be there but could use the gift of a registration. You'll find more details about that in the prospectus. We have packages of various sizes. I think they start with 5 registrations, so that you can offer that to an attendee who might not be able to come otherwise. Also, I think Molly already touched on this, but make sure that in your outreach that you're taking the opportunity to plan scheduled times to meet with people you'd really like to talk to. Any questions there or anything that the rest of the team would like to add?
I think we're good.
All right, let's go on to the next slide.
All right. So again, let's dig a little bit deeper. Let's make that plan. So pre-show, maybe 2 to 4 weeks ahead of the show, set those goals, those KPIs, know what your goals really are, confirm logistics, understand your booth setup, shipping materials, travel arrangements, all of those sorts of things, prepare those assets. Also, make sure that pre-show outreach is being done, and also your team training. Make sure everybody knows what they're doing at the show. And during the show, engage. As we've talked about already, make sure that you're greeting attendees proactively. Offer demos, interactive experiences, those games, some of those things that just maybe make the show a little bit lighter. Also, capture those leads. Post to social media, make sure you're networking, and of course, review with your team as the days are moving through and make sure that things are going in the direction that you're wanting them to go. And then, of course, after the show, follow up, debrief. Make sure you're recapping content to those prospects. And as you're connecting with them, make sure that you're also adding up any of those leads and nurture programs and campaigns within your marketing resources. But again, schedule meetings in advance. The most important thing you can do is have a plan as you're going into conference to make sure that this is a very big success for your organization.
All right, so let's talk about the do's and some of the don'ts for this particular conference. And I can tell you guys, being somebody that's attended for more than, oh my gosh, I don't want to show my age too much, but it's like going on 20 years of these AOE meetings. I picked up some little tricks of the trade. So some of the things: do smile, be engaging. I mean, this is supposed to be fun. This is not a high pressure type of situation where you're going in for the kill on every single call. All you're doing here is building a relationship that's going to give you more opportunities to have more conversations down the road. This is a great opportunity just to become, I want to use the term friends with the members, because a lot of these people you can't access through the gates of going through their front doors at their offices. So great opportunity to get to know these folks. So always be smiling, always be engaging. Have a compelling what we do statement. Okay. You want, again, you're not there to close them on the deal of the century. All you're trying to do is close them for more time. And If you can get them to nibble on the bait, that's only going to lead to bigger bites down the road. So just have a compelling what do we do statement. Make sure your booth and the people that are in your booth have that same kind of mindset, because the more people that you bring in, the more times you're able to get them coming back and talking with you, the better off you're going to be. Schedule follow-ups on the spot. I love and I'll go back, and I know Molly and Jason both talked about it, but the lead retrieval, I probably have 70% of my business of the year come from this show. And it's all about developing that next appointment. So scan their badge, say, hey, would you have time? I'm not going to bother you in the first couple days after the meeting because you're going to be digging out from being gone for the last 4 days. But in the next couple of weeks, love to jump on another call. Can we set that up? Set it up right there. Members talk. So if one person isn't a fit, chances are they're going to know others that are going to be a good fit. So as you build relationships, they may not be able to give you the business that you're looking for right directly with them, but they could have a buddy that they're friends with that works 25 miles down the road that they could bring and actually introduce you. The other thing is make sure that you're buddying up with the people are around you, the people that are exhibitors next to you, because I know, I can speak firsthand. Jason, Molly, and we all kind of use each other. If I don't know somebody, or Jason or Molly doesn't know somebody, but I do, I don't have no problems introducing them to those people. And it's just a great way to network, not only from a member standpoint, but an exhibitor standpoint. So just make sure that this is a friendly atmosphere. You're making buddies with all the people around you and make it a great experience for everybody. The other thing is take notes about your conversations. The last thing you would, you get so busy, you scan a card, you put no notes in, and then 2 weeks down the road, when you get that lead retrieval back, you're like, what did I talk to this person about? Did I make any promises that I can't fulfill? So just take the time, make the notes about the conversations you're having. So next slide. So here are well, as soon as it pops over, next slide, please. Don'ts. The don'ts. Don't have a messy booth. Don't have it chaotic. It's one thing to, during derby days when you're completely decorated to the till, but as a whole, make sure that your booth is inviting. You want people to come by and want people to come talk to you. And if it's in disarray, or the people that are in your booth seem closed off because they're in their emails during that specific exhibiting time, it's going to turn people away, and they're going to just go to the next booth where they can actually have a conversation. Don't hide behind your phone. Again, a smile and a hello goes a long way with the members. So just be engaging with the folks that are around you. Don't spend too much time with one person. Obviously, if you're in a hot bit of a sale and there's an opportunity to close them, close them. But what you don't want to do is just keep bombarding them with questions to where they get agitated, and because they're trying to get through other booths, and they feel they don't want to be rude to you and just walk away. So they'll sit there and talk, but then once they're gone, you've lost them forever. So just be respectful of the amount of time that you're talking with them. Let me see. If showed obvious disinterest when someone isn't your, go back one more slide. I'm not done. There we go. Show obvious disinterest when someone isn't your ideal customer. Say, hey, you know what? Thanks for stopping by. Here's a couple, AOE bucks. Appreciate you stopping by. Send your friends over if you have, if there's any interest. But just read your target, read your audience. And then last, but not, I should say, least but not last, don't be overly aggressive. We want members to want to be at the AOE conference. And if it becomes a situation where it's a hostile environment for them, the less times those members are going to come by and get down to the executive or the vendor room. So just be courteous. Be courteous of their time. Be courteous of the other vendors' times. Don't be overly aggressive or too pushy. Again, this is a light and friendly situation, and at the end of the day, it's not to close the deal of the century. It's to buy more time, get past the gatekeeper, so you have a direct line with that person to have those conversations that you can actually close for the business. So, trying to think if there's any more do's or don'ts. I don't think so. Jason, Molly, anything else that you guys would add there?
Yeah, the only thing I'll add, Ed, and it's what we kind of chatted about before, at the conference, you're going to have competitors there. I know I have quite a few competitors there. I know most of them. I like all of them. spend time talking about yourself and what you guys can offer. There's nothing to gain. I know sometimes folks try to competitor bash, or if you're talking more about your competitor than your company, you're missing the mark, right? So that's all I just wanted to add on that. Like that's a big don't. I just, be courteous, be simple, right? Go ahead, Ed, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, really good point. And that just kind of leads me to the last thing that I didn't mention. And I think this is probably needs to be a bullet point, honestly. Excuse me for not putting it on here. During the exhibit hour hall hours, make sure you're at your booth. Don't shut down early. Don't not have somebody at the booth during those specific exhibit hall hours, because the last thing you want is to have a member walk by, see your name up there, and have nobody at the booth. If you're a single person running the booth, okay, maybe you're a one pony show. If you have to go to the bathroom or you need to step away, that's fine. Ask somebody around your booth. Say, look, if someone comes by, just tell them that I had to use the restroom and I'll be right back. Or if you really want to come to and get somebody to stand in your booth, come to one of the RAB folks. We've got flags at every booth. I think they're orange this year. Have us come and we'll stand by your booth for a few minutes. If you have only competitors around your booth, which I don't think the AAOE does, but if that's the situation for whatever reason and you're not comfortable with anybody else manning your booth, have one of us come in. We'll stand there and collect information for you. We may not be able to answer any questions that the customer has, but at least we'll be able to collect some information or let them know where you're at. So just those are the two big things. Make sure you got people manned at the booth for exhibitor hours, and don't shut down early. Because that's the worst thing in a million years the AOE wants, is that last day when people are walking around to get that last minute AOE buck, to see half the vendors have already left. Okay. So make sure that you're following that, and we're going to have a great meeting. Sorry. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Perfect.
One
Molly,
last
anything?
thing. Yeah, one last thing really quick. Ed brought up about finding one of the IRAB members if you need us to cover your booth for you. But also, if you're having an issue or you have a question, find us. That's why we're there. We're there to help make this a great show for you and your organization. So if you're running into an issue or you have a question, find one of us. We are more than happy to assist you, whether that's in answering questions ourselves or getting you with an AAOE member, staff member to really address an issue. Please reach out to us. That is why we're flagged in the exhibit hall, and we are more than happy to help.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to bounce this over to Jason for the last couple of slides, just to be respectful of everybody's time. Jason?
Yep, happy to do so. Thanks, Ed. So these two next slides that I'll cover will be really quick. Educational sessions. I cannot stress this enough. If you are there and you're on site, go to them. It is a fantastic way to really just to kind of understand what these orthopedic executives are going through. They're broken down in various different tracks. Everybody who signs up will have the ability to look at the agenda and the schedule. If you download the mobile app, you can actually look at these as well. Find some sessions that pique your interest. Find some sessions that kind of pertain to what your industry is. Show up. The only thing that we ask, right? Let's be respectful. If there's an overflow in there, just stand. If you physically can't stand, I'm sure then it's perfectly fine if you're in a seat. But let's let the attendees have the seats first, and then you kind of stand around the back. If there's plenty of seats in there, grab a seat, make yourself comfortable. And it's also a good way for you to meet who are the industry experts on that particular topic, right? So it's a great way to meet influencers. First time I met Ed, he had paparazzi following him around. I thought he was an influencer, completely wrong. And then I went to a session and found a real influencer. So that's where you're going to find these people. Okay. Next slide, please. The other thing is, we already talked about it a little bit, networking events. If you are at conference and your booth staff or you're physically not going to the networking sessions, you might as well take money right now, get a lighter out and put it on fire. You are missing the boat and you are wasting money. Go to the educational sessions, but the networking sessions are where people have fun. And in my opinion, and I'm sure Ed and Molly can agree, anybody in sales that has been in there, when you go to the networking sessions, network and have fun. It's not a selling session. It's not all about you. If you find yourself talking about you again have probably missed the boat. Ask those folks questions. Like, what do they like to do outside of work? I promise you, you will probably have a more meaningful conversation over an adult beverage or a glass of orange juice or whatever it is. I could care less at a social networking event than you probably will on an hour presentation anywhere else. So attend the networking sessions, go to the educational sessions, just have fun, and I think you're going to do just fine. So next slide.
All right. So already talked about this a little bit after the show. Make sure you are following up. So pre-show outreach, again, keep it short and mobile friendly, but also look for ways to maintain those relationships. Again, it is about building relationships. Those networking events are about building relationships. You want to build upon them. So make sure that you're doing that follow-up. Make sure your marketing team has all the leads in so that you can continue outreach. All right, next slide. All right, building on that show. Ed, everything is about, obviously, as you're concentrating on getting to the show, it's about what's happening at the show. But it's not just about engaging with these members once a year. It is great and it's fabulous. The show is always a lot of fun, but that ongoing engagement is even better.
Yeah, I'll just add, make sure that you're being persistent but not pesty, if that makes sense. You want an ongoing conversation, but if someone says, "Hey, you know what? We're just not interested right now," respect it, and maybe hit them up 3 or 4 months down the road. Say, "Hey, just touching base with you. I know we met at the AOE. I look forward to seeing you at the next AOE. Has anything changed?" That's okay. But if you're hammering them once a week after that meeting, you don't want to get shut out. That would be the I guess the 2 cents I would take out of that. The other thing is, again, persistence is great. You're always trying to build that next step to the sales call. This group, if you've never been here before, this group is very inviting. So, and they work well with the vendors. So just read their cues and you'll be all right. You'll be a-okay. Just be respectful of the time. That's all that we ask for.
Yeah, and again, it's all about building relationships. So That's really the goal here.
All right, so net out. Okay, put a bow on this because we're getting ready to wrap up in time. Be prepared, be engaging, schedule follow-up, focus on building relationships, and the sales will follow. I promise you. This is a relationship. It's a plethora of relationships that can be made here. And if you play your cards right, this could make your year. So really, all in all, that's all I had from that aspect. The last thing I do want to touch base with is if you could jump to the next slide on the speed, and I tongue-in-cheek call this speed dating because it's kind of like speed dating. If you have signed up for the speed meetings, these are fantastic. The one thing I will give you advice on is this. Don't try to close them for the sale. I think you get 6 minutes, 7 minutes? Help me out, Addie or Melissa. I don't remember exactly the amount of time.
6 minutes.
So you get 6 minutes to give them an elevator pitch. And really, at the end of the day, it's not about closing them. If you go in thinking you're going to sell them on everything and close them right there, you missed the boat. You want to get in, you want to get a taste of what you can do to benefit and build on making their lives easier. Get that next appointment, get that connection, get a card, get something for them that allows you to get back in front of them at a real meeting down the road. Be organized, use your time wisely, take good notes. Again, it's about building that relationship so you can take it to the next level. Okay. That's really all I had on the speed. Molly, Jason, anything from either one of you on that?
Nope.
It's a great opportunity. Speed meetings are fun.
All right. That's it, guys. That was my last hurrah slide. Other than any questions, you can always reach out to Melissa. there's that information. The sales group, that's the Wyman company. It's Judy, Audrey. I mean, any of these guys. If you want to touch base with the RAB folks, Jason, Molly, or myself, there's our direct contact information. If you have questions about, hey, I didn't want to ask it on the meeting, but I do have a question, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to answer it. We're here to help you guys make this as exciting and the best conference really that you guys will go to this year, hopefully. So I know there were some questions in the side. I think we got answered everything. Melissa, Addie, anything that you see that's outstanding before we let them go?
I don't have anything on my end.
Okay.
I don't either.
This will be available if you guys want to go back. If you guys weren't taking notes or, a lot of stuff was given out, I think this will be available that you guys can watch again and grab the notes out of there. But again, if you guys have any questions, we're here to help. Other than that, guys, we look forward to seeing you in a few months. Exciting to get this thing done, get this thing rolling. Appreciate everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.